Hello, welcome. This is the competitor briefing for the Shalhoob Women's Invitational and the Women's Skippers Championship 2021. I'd like to thank a few people really quick before we get into this. Number one, the Harbor 20 fleet, who is our saviors each and every regatta that we use Harbor 20s for. Thank you so much. Our regatta chair, Karen Cahill, who is amazing and always a pleasure to work with, honestly. And our PRO, who's going to be Sky Adams. We have two events going on this weekend, and I thought it'd be really cool to have a high caliber woman PRO and racer, Sky Adams. If you don't know Sky, she was on the Brown University sailing team. She's a member here, wife of Andrew Nunn. She is going to be coming out and blowing whistles for everybody tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to having her out with us. It should be great. Okay, so I want to start right off the get-go by sharing one major amendment that we're going to do to the sailing instructions, and that is we're going to change the sailing instructions to the audible signal racing system. So typically on a lot of our races, we'll do the 5-minute warning signal with the flag, and then the class flag, the prep flag goes up at 4, prep flag comes down at 1, class flag goes down at 0. We're doing this bare bones tomorrow, and with 5 Harbor 20 signed up, I think it's okay to do the 3-minute whistle sequence. And as you can see, it's all kind of explained here. It'll kind of go bop, 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 get ready for 3 minutes. Then 3 long whistles, bop, 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 3 minutes. 2 long is 2 minutes. 1 long, 3 short is 1 minute, 30 seconds. 1 long is 1 minute, and then it goes 30 seconds is 3 short, bop, bop, bop. 20 seconds is 2 short, bop, bop. 10 seconds is 1 short, bop. And then a 5-second count on. So bop, 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 bop. And that's the go. So another thing about that is that I'm sure we'll try to use the individual recall flag, but it's not required. So all that has to happen on the race committee boat is them yelling through a megaphone, 306 over early, and that's it. And so we'll have a megaphone, make sure everybody can hear that. But I think that'll be sufficient for this event. I don't think it'll be a big deal. So we are changed. This is an amendment. The race will be started with a 3-minute audible sound signal system. Okay. Each race will be. All right. So let's talk about the RC signal boat. I should thank John Vincent. He's donated or loaned Argo's tender to be the race committee signal boat, and our course placement. Our course placement will most likely be just out in front of the club here, so people can watch. I don't think we'll go very far out unless there's a kelp or there was quite a bit of kelp and a current line close to shore yesterday. So if that appears, I'm sure that Sky will choose to move it around and try to get out of that as best she can. But ultimately, that's her decision where she wants to race. Okay. The other thing I want to point out is that in the course chart here, you have a weather mark and then a gate. And there's a very important little stipulation down here. If only one gate mark is present, it shall be rounded to port. I think with only 5 boats, I think it's reasonable to have just one leeward mark and you'll round it to port. And so that's what we'll do tomorrow is we'll have a windward mark and a leeward mark, you're gonna round it to port. And again, that's just written right here. If only one gate mark is present, it shall be rounded to port. So that's how that'll work. Okay, the other thing I want to kind of point out is the format for how this works. So we did this last year and I thought it worked pretty well. It can be a little confusing, but the schedule of races from 1 o'clock to 2:15, any race that is started, the warning signal is given before that time will be the Shalhoob Women's Invitational. So if one warning signal is done and one race finishes, that's the Shalhoob Women's Invitational and it's done. Okay, any race that has a warning signal after 2:15 and before 3:30, which is the last warning signal scheduled, will be the Women's Skippers Championship. So that's how that'll work. The only caveat is if there have no races have been completed for the Shalhoob Women's Invitational by 2:15, then the first race that is completed will be the Shalhoob Women's Invitational. And then all subsequent races that are completed before the 3:30 cutoff will be the Women's Skippers Champs. So Shalhoob's the first one to get done. That one's going to definitely happen if a race gets off at all tomorrow. It was a bit of a late build today, but by 1 o'clock or 1:30, there probably was enough wind to run some races, and it's quite nice later in the day. So hopefully it'll be good for us tomorrow. Other than that, I don't have that much to add. This is a non-Spinnaker event, as I recall, and I'm looking to make sure that that's totally correct for both, but I'm 99.999% sure that it is non-Spinnaker for everything. Spinnakers will not be used for this regatta. Under 11.8 and 11.9 in the sailing instructions, you can review things you should bring of your own, like a VHF radio and a personal flotation device, and things that you're permitted to bring, but might not be on the boat. And then, of course, things that you're not allowed to bring. So one of the big ones is that clocks, timers, engines before the preparatory signal, of course, VHF radios and compasses are the only electronic functions permitted to be used from 30 minutes prior to the first scheduled warning signal until the end of the last race of each day. So that means no, like, you can't go up and ping the line and things like that. So just trying to keep it fair for competitors, keep it equal. I think that's all I really have, honestly. I'm really looking forward to hearing about the racing tomorrow. I hope to be at the awards. And if I get on with my thing early, I'll come up and do some live broadcasting of the event, which would be kind of fun for me. And I'm excited. Good luck to all of you. Have a great day on the water and enjoy some camaraderie with some awesome women sailors in our club. And obviously, fastest growing segment of our sport. So thank you for doing this. All right, everybody. We will see you all tomorrow.